In these examples, we are going to look at how to translate verbal expressions into algebraic expressions. I also want to point out here how important certain key words can be when you're translating into algebraic expressions. One of the words we're going to focus on here is the word and. Now, the word and might not seem like such a big deal, but it's really important because it helps you understand where you should put your operator when you write the algebraic expression. Let's take a look at the first one. 3 times the sum of a number and 5. So we notice that we have 3 times. So that means the number 3 is going to be multiplied by something. Well, it's going to be multiplied by the sum of a number and 5. So I put parentheses around the sum of a number and 5. Now we're going to focus on that word and. Whenever you see the word and, you want to look back in the expression for the operator. When I say operator, I mean a word that tells you to either add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So I see the word sum. So what that means is wherever the word and is in the expression, that's where your plus sign will go. So we have 3 times the sum of a number and 5. So we're going to start with 3, then we're going to open our parenthesis. Now, we're finding the sum of a number and 5. So the plus sign is going to go in between the number and 5. And then we close our parentheses. Let's look at the second one. The sum of 3 times a number and 5. You'll notice this sounds very similar to the first one we just did, but you'll notice how the words are in different places. So now when we look at our word and we look back for our operator, it still goes back to the word sum, but now we're finding the sum of 2 different things. So we know where we're going to place our plus sign, but we're finding the sum of 3 times a number and the number 5. So we first have to write an expression for 3 times a number, and we're going to also write the number 5, and they will be separated by the sum or the plus sign. Let's look at the next one. The difference of 5 and half of a number. So again, we see our word and when we look back, now the operator is the word difference. So that's going to be where we put our minus sign. Well, what are we finding the difference of? We're finding the difference of 5 and half of a number. So we have 5, and then we have half of a number, and we put our minus sign in between. Now let's look at the last one. 5 less than half of a number. Again, this sounds similar to the one right before it. You'll notice there's no word and, though, in this case. So this one's not as straightforward. For this one, you have to remember that the phrase less than is what we call a switch phrase, which means it switches the order of the expressions when you translate to your algebraic expression. So we have 5 less than half of a number. So that means we're starting with half of a number, and we're taking 5 less than that. So 1/2 n comes first in our algebraic expression, minus 5.